Taxation. Democrats think that the rich should chip in more taxes to pay for things like schools and healthcare. Republicans want lower taxes for everyone, hoping to get the economy buzzing. Government spending. Democrats generally like the active role of government in the economy to fund social programs like Medicare, Social Security, and welfare to reduce inequality and provide safety for the vulnerable. Republicans emphasize cutting government spending to reduce national debt and avoid excessive government intervention. Economic regulation. Democrats push for more regulations to protect consumers, workers, and the environment to minimize the exploitation of workers and reduce environmental harm. Republicans generally favor deregulation, as excessive rules hinder innovation, increase the cost of business, and slow economic growth. Free market. Democrats aim to level the playing field through antitrust laws and labor rights. Republicans like minimum government interference to allow businesses to operate more efficiently and competitively. Healthcare. Democrats support universal healthcare and advocate for options like Medicare for all. Republicans prefer private healthcare. Education. Democrats favor increased funding for public schools and support loan forgiveness. Republicans support school choice and charter schools. They advocate for local control over education. Welfare. Democrats advocate for a robust social program and expanded welfare benefits. Republicans promote reducing welfare dependency and favor work requirements for benefits. Civil rights and equality. Democrats strongly support LGBTQ+ rights and racial equality. Republicans emphasize individual rights and equal opportunity. They oppose affirmative action and prefer a merit-based system. Climate change. Democrats acknowledge climate change as a major threat and advocate for aggressive action to combat it. Republicans are skeptical about its severity and prefer market-driven solutions. Fossil fuels. Democrats strongly support renewable energy sources like solar and wind to reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Republicans support fossil fuel industries such as coal, oil, and natural gas. Military intervention. Democrats prefer diplomacy over military action and support limited intervention too, with international support. Republicans prefer America's interests first and advocate for a strong military presence. International alliances and agreements. Democrats support multilateral agreements like NATO and the Paris Agreement and emphasize cooperation. Republicans tend to focus on America First policies. Trade policies. Democrats generally support free trade agreements with fair standards. They criticize tariffs as harmful to consumers. While the Republicans advocate for protectionist trade policies to protect domestic industries, they prefer using tariffs as a tool for negotiation. Border security and enforcement. Democrats support comprehensive immigration reforms with enhanced security and ways to citizenship. Republicans advocate for stricter border controls, including physical barriers like a wall. Citizenship. Democrats favor pathways to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, including DACA recipients. Republicans generally oppose amnesty programs and prioritize legal immigration pathways. Gun ownership. Democrats support gun control measures to reduce access to firearms. They emphasize putting background checks on gun purchases. Republicans oppose extensive gun control measures and emphasize Second Amendment rights, and generally oppose additional regulations. They uphold the Second Amendment as a protection for an individual's right to own firearms with minimal government interference. Law and order. Democrats generally vow to implement policing reforms that include more accountability, community policing, and reducing the use of force. They focus on reforms to reduce mass incarceration, lowering mandatory minimum sentences, and prioritizing rehabilitation over punishment. They also favor treating drug addiction as a public health issue and not a criminal one, advocating decriminalization of certain substances, and increasing access to treatments. Republicans emphasize strong support for law enforcement, prioritizing police funding, and tough crime policies. They generally oppose criminal justice reforms, argue for strict sentencing, and also advocate for punishments to combat drug-related crimes. Labor and employment. Democrats tend to raise the minimum wage to ensure a living wage for all workers. They strongly support labor unions, believing that they are essential for protecting workers' rights and securing fair wages and benefits. They push for enhanced benefits like paid family leave, strong workplace safety, and expanded healthcare access. Republicans typically oppose significant minimum wage hikes with the argument that it could hurt small businesses and reduce employment opportunities. They favor right-to-work laws that limit labor union power. They favor fewer regulations in business as they believe that a more flexible labor market benefits both employers and employees. Judiciary and legal systems. Democrats favor appointing Supreme Court justices who interpret the Constitution as a living document, adapting its principles to modern society. They support decisions that uphold rights related to abortion, same-sex marriages, and other social issues. Republicans prefer justices who stick strictly to constitutionalism, interpreting the original meaning of the Constitution. They seek to appoint judges who may overturn or restrict rulings on key issues like abortion and oppose federal mandates on same-sex marriage. Science and technology. Democrats generally favor increased funding for research and development. They emphasize the importance of innovation and addressing challenges like climate change. However, they prefer more regulation to protect privacy, combat misinformation, and ensure fair competition. In the field of space exploration, Democrats support strong government involvement. It also includes NASA funding and international collaboration. Republicans also support research funding but prefer private sector-led innovation and partnership. They promote less regulation of technology companies to encourage growth and innovation.